because one of the things that arguably tainted All In was the backstage stories regarding the incident pertaining to CM Punk and Jack Fumble Boy Perry. That's what I'm calling him now. Jack Fumble Boy Perry and CM Punk. So we'll start off with a general synopsis of what it seems like or what has been reported as to happening. And I'm saying reported because obviously it's all a he say, she say until an official source confirms. So first things first, apparently this incident has roots in Jack having us, planning on doing this match. Punk kind of telling him, hey, don't do that over here, whatever, like the glass stuff, just don't do it. Perry does the FTW championship match against Hook, back suplexes Hook, I think, onto the windshield of the car. He says that's real glass, cry your heart out, uses the B word. That eventually led to either Jack confronting CM Punk or CM Punk confronting Jack, asking if, Punk presumably said, do you have a problem with me? And Jack retorted. Jack struck him or approached him. Punk retaliated and apparently just had him in a headlock and choked him. And that was kind of the end of the incident. They were also kind of like, oh, well, CM Punk and Miro had a little bit of an altercation, but Punk and Miro's was kind of like oh, you want to step outside, but they were joking because they're friends. But like this news and this incident kind of, when it comes to online, kind of remained a constant throughout the night. It just became the source of a lot of chatter. And in my opinion, I think it got in the way of the show. But I want to know how you felt about the incident. I'm trying to figure out if there was any, anything pertaining to, anything pertaining to the fallout. So I just want to know how you feel about the event. Feel about all this.
Okay, this is another situation where I don't like CM Punk, but I have to side with him because you cannot run your mouth and then get your ass beat against presumably the worst UFC fighter of all time. I think we all seen the tapes. So I feel like if I was Tony Khan, I'm just going to suspend you solely because, like, why can't none of y'all beat his ass? Like, I could beat his ass. Why can't none of y'all beat his ass? You're embarrassing my promotion at this point. You're supposed to be intimidating. You're supposed to be wrestlers. And you're over here being choked out by this man who probably weighs no more than 140 pounds, soaking wet. Like, that was number one. Number two, I don't think Jungle Boy should have done that because I feel like we should have learned from last year that we need to stop taking attention away from big shows and big events, and let's just stay on the topic and work as a team. If you don't like the person, stay on the other end. As far as I know, CM Punk actually try to like remove certain names from being on Collision so that we could try to prevent this, and it just seems like wherever he goes, drama does follow him, and I don't want to side with him because I do not like CM Punk, but at the same time, if someone's running their mouth and they start with me, bitch, I'm gonna swing back. However, in another instant, you could look at it like this and be like, well, did Jungle Boy really not really deserve, but is he really worth putting pause on? Because again, Jungle Boy doesn't look like he could hurt a fly. I don't know what Jungle Boy thought he could do or was going to do, but he did not do a damn thing as far as I know. But the way Punk kind of handled it, I kind of respect it because not only did he handle his ass, but he went out and put on the best show of the night. So it's like, I kind of respect it, but also this kind of needs to stop. So where does it stop? Where does all this fighting when we have big events stops? I saw a report somewhere where they were saying that the both of them was allegedly getting suspended, but especially Jack Perry was getting suspended since he's basically the one that started it. But it's like, when does this all stop to where y'all could like focus on the task at hand? We're lucky that it started in the beginning of the show and not at the end to where we could have a repeat of last year. But at the end of the day, I also just feel like y'all shouldn't be doing this really at all. Just mind your business. Really, honestly, just mind your... It's glass. It's fucking glass of all things to be arguing about. And you got choked out anyways. If you're going to pick a fight with CM Punk, you better mop his ass. Mop his ass and suspend him, because that's embarrassing. That's really fucking embarrassing. All right? If I was Anna Jay, he would get no coochie. He would get no coochie for the rest of the year. Because how you losing to like a damn near 50-year-old man? No. It was probably a really quiet drive home on the plane. Sorry, fly home on the plane. But that's just my take. Jordan, how do you feel about this?
So here's my stance on this. I agree with everything that you said. If you're going to pick a fight, win the fight. That's number one. Number two, I feel like this isn't by accident. One of the things that I've noticed ever since the return of CM Punk is that there's always something surrounding CM Punk, whether it is related to CM Punk or not. There's reports leaked. Oh, he got this person banned from backstage. He sent this person home. But as someone who has, and I've, temporarily for a very short time, I worked for WWE as a production assistant. People get sent home all the time.
Jordan's resume is really astonishing. Wow.
Huh?
Just impressive. No, your resume is just impressive.
Listen,
everywhere.
Listen, I'm everywhere, baby. But like, people get sent home all of the time for non-personal reasons. And I'm pretty sure that whoever got sent home in these leaked reports, like, there have been other people that were sent home and it just wasn't reported about it. But I feel like ever since Punk has come back to AEW, there's been kind of this agenda to get him out, because there is a certain amount of people that don't want him in AEW. So I think there's that aspect and that element. I also think that if something is backstage, keep it backstage. And here's what I mean by that. Clearly, Punk confronted you about something privately and said, listen, whatever you're doing here, maybe this isn't the best option. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Or maybe it was just a don't do this here. You know what I mean? Type of thing. He said it to you in private, right? And if you disagreed or agreed with it, you could have addressed it privately. But the fact that you went on TV and said a remark regarding an incident that had nothing to do with the match shows me your level of immaturity. It shows me you wanted to get one over on somebody else. It shows me you wanted to provide yourself with a moment that was going to stroke your ego. It informed me that you just wanted the spotlight to kind of do something that otherwise you probably wouldn't have the license to do. I think that was number three. I was just essentially saying that this was a private thing, and then you kind of went and you did your pre-show match and you used it as a platform to air out this private grievance that had nothing to do with the match. And it's just like, why would you do that? So then there's that element. And I just personally think that if you're going to pick a fight with somebody, you need to win the fight. If you're going to pick a moment in your match to air out a personal private grievance, don't like get mad when somebody checks you. Because yes, I am going to check you. Like, hey, bro, like I was just trying to do something right by you. If you don't agree with it or you feel like you have a different way of going about it, that's fine. That's cool. But why would you go out in public and do that when I went to you in private to deal with you? I think that that's just weird. Yeah. And to be honest, if you did that to me, I'm definitely snuffing you. And to be honest, I think that both parties deserve to be suspended, but I do think that Jack Perry has to receive the heavier suspension because you used a moment. Number one, you barely made it on the pre-show. You barely made it on the pre-show. Number two, you were going to use a moment where you can drive your character forward as a heel in this match and you're going to use it to air out a private grievance, which you didn't really have to do. And then on top of that, the moment and the incident that you instigated tainted the biggest moment in the history of the company.
Made it all about you.
You made it all about you because you didn't like the fact that someone said don't use glass. What?
They're soft.
What
This
do
whole
you-
company is soft.
What are you, 12? Like the fact that AEW All in London had more paid attendees than WrestleMania 32, which is considered the biggest attendance record in the history of pro wrestling. The fact that AEW just broke that record, but everybody's still talking about you, means that you drove an incident that got in the way of the history and the reputation and the brand of the company. Now, granted, AEW put on a great event, and because of that, this incident didn't wash out the other, but you put yourself at risk. You put yourself at the company at risk. Now, apparently, there have been also other reports of how Punk got to the airport in London, and there was nobody there to do his transportation, nobody there that was taking care of him, right? And then on top of that, there were reports of like him going at Tony Khan, threatening to leave the company. What I will say regarding Punk is, if you really want to leave, bro, just leave. Clearly.
Oh yeah, what a bitch about that, by the way. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're a fucking wrestler. You're in another continent. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit's not gonna be like, it's not gonna go as planned in the beginning.
Right.
You know, traveling out to different continents, like, you kind of just gonna have to adjust. Like, they're not used to seeing like Americans coming in like that for these grandiose events. Like, you guys are kind of like part of the beginning of history with all this type of stuff before you guys start to tighten loose strings. I feel like him taking that plus the Jungle Boy incident and being like, oh, I want to fucking quit, to me is lame. Like, you're a veteran, A. B, after all the crap that you put us through last year, we still gave you the belt back. We're still trusting to put you on a show, and you're gonna sit here and complain and threaten to quit. Like, I don't know. I feel like, to me, again, it's just another reflection about how much pull he knows that he has in this company, but also the lack of respect he does have. Like, I feel like he feels like he's at the top, and so long as he's at the top, like, he could do whatever he wants to do. Like, you don't make threats like you don't make threats like that, because if you make threats like that, if it was Vince McMahon, right? If he was like sitting in WWE trying to pull that shit, he'd be like, all right, bro, like, it's a wrap. Like,
right.
Walk out. Like, hand me your belt. Like, is that how you really feel? I'll put the belt on someone else tonight, and we could just rinse our hands of you, because what the fuck is this? Threatening that you want to leave. To me, that's my only ick about Punk amongst anything that he pulled throughout that whole incident. Him threatening to leave, he needs to cut that shit. I feel like the whole company's fucking soft, and everyone needs to grow a fucking spine and handle their shit privately. And if you have an issue, take that shit to Tony. Stop sitting here trying to threaten that you want to leave. Stop trying to put pause on other people. Focus on your fucking job, because you guys almost ruined one of the biggest nights in pro wrestling.
And I think we're going to end that segment on that note. Let us know how you feel about this CM Punk Jack Perry feud, because it's definitely interesting to say the least. But we're going to be moving on.